Okay, first item on the agenda, pledge allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Which will be there.
Any additions or changes to the agenda?
Actually, one proposal we had to that. Well,
Oh, yeah, so number 7 is gonna get moved up under fire department, so numbers is fire department, a quick discussion on the hardship policy, so number 7 will be our Pride Month celebration.
5 more?
Pride Month celebration is number 7, and number 7 is just gonna be a quick discussion within the fire department, so I can get a little more information before we give you any kind of a policy, if we're gonna go forward to the policy. Meeting minutes of April 27th to 25.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Our abstract dated today, number 21, the amount of
$52,501.09.
so move.
Second.
And seconded, any discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
And it's been audited.
Yes.
I think that's the least amount. It's very small.
Yeah, now you could, I kind of wonder too, but I can't see what we're missing. I
Well-
think it's just the way we're timing it between, we've already submitted from the last one and what will come at the end of the month.
I saw it was small, and then I remembered two main people who've gone away from. Wow.
Oh.
No
I
comment.
wonder.
Tyler, I would just keep ignoring it like you're doing. You're doing a good job.
Bills don't happen in 1 week.
I should have said that.
That's a lead into you next, right?
Yeah. Good luck to you.
Don't put that in the minutes. It's a less last.
Fire department, we have any application?
Two.
And here. We got, Ethan, Seltzer. Seltzer, and, Ethan is interested in both, doing, fire department and EMS. So it's so moved.
Moved by Dan,
Second.
second. Mark, any discussion, all in favor?
And then we got Riley, Ellis, and she is, or is it the he or she? She. She's interested in both the EMS and helping out with doing fire, the books and work this weekend. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any other discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
We have orientation Saturday for 4, maybe 5. So that'd be good. I think it's only 2, right? You have 2. We have the compressor bid.
We got one bid in for the air compressor, with this going down last Thursday. And the amount of, $66,570.38.
I'd like permission to award that bid to the vendor.
Second.
Any discussion, this is going inside?
Yeah, it's replacing our current breathing air system. And then I want to also get that out to bid to see, gotta get rid of that now, so.
So
Pictures,
Through this and then we'll surplus that?
yes, we can do that at the next meeting, though,
Oh,
if you'd like.
yeah, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, surplus it at the next meeting. That way I could talk to him and he was gonna see if he could take it in on trade and what the value would be. And I gotta call somebody else and see if it's a fair value. So we'll wait and see what he comes up with.
But that amount is not with the trade.
No.
It's- okay.
So That amount is without, we'll have some additional costs for electrical work that has to get done as well. So
But it's within realm of where you thought it was gonna be.
I budgeted 110.
Yeah.
So that's what I put in the capital budget
Okay.
over the year, so
Right.
that's good.
All in favor?
Right.
I move somebody second.
And you second.
Second.
Jane and Mark.
Jane, move.
Thanks, we bet.
All set? Good. In my budget process, I brought up a list of things that I wanted to get done. With some of the money that was earmarked in the budget for the project coming up. Was 23,974. It's the pump and tank for the pickup truck. So I want to put a high pressure pump and tank on the back of the pickup truck. Lighting, emergency lighting for the pickup truck because we don't have any on it. And then additional rescue struts to put on the new rescue. All of that comes to 23,974.
In this budget.
If not, no, it's not in the budget. It's in the funds that we had earmarked leftover money from potentially the roof.
Oh, okay.
Cause it's in Karen, it's the money we found, 114, 123, whatever. It was in the, can't even remember where it was. We found it.
It's okay, as long as
It's earmarked in the general fund under fire department reserve.
Okay,
And there was 114, that's where the 85 was.
Yeah.
So I wanted to spend the other 23 on
the
this
side.
equipment, and I had proposed it in my budget process to do
Okay.
that.
Right.
But I wanted to wait until we got closer. The lead time for the lights is 6 to 8 weeks, so I don't want to wait too long, because then I won't even be able to use the brush truck this year.
Right.
So,
Second.
Seconded. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
and the last thing is I'm going to Harrisburg on Thursday, spending the night and coming back on Friday. There's a show down there. More importantly, I want to see that he's got one of these compressors there, so I want to just go on. I just need permission to take my car. I've got a room already. One of my buddies has got a room, so I'm gonna check it with him.
From
I'll second.
the north of England to Harrisburg.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
Wow. Where'd you go wrong?
It's a long list.
I'm aware.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
That's everything for my list.
okay, so on this ambulance hardship policy.
Mhm.
So. We're not gonna have like a long discussion about this tonight. But I want a little bit more direction from the board with your input or whatever. So. One basic question is, do we want to offer the possibility of waiving charges for people that have a hardship? That's a yes or no question. That's not a discussion about how we go about it, why we go about it, or anything else. That's just a one-time question, right? If we're going to consider any waivers or not. If we are, we've been working with our ambulance billing company, and we have some things in place as to how to go about doing that. So that will be refined, and that will be a bigger board discussion for input and things like that once we know what direction we want to go in. The other question is in the policy of writing that, I checked with Manlius and Manoa about how they handle hardship cases and or charges within the fire district. So just to clarify things, in the Fayetteville Fire District, bills go out to people that use the ambulance service. And if they have insurances that will pay for any of that, the insurance money many times is directed directly to the billing company to pay for those services. Do anybody get those at their own private residences anymore, or do they mostly all go through the billing company?
Nope, they get, so after the bill goes to the insurance company, you may get 1, 2, or 3 bills at your residence to pay the balance.
Right,
Generally, people know that they don't have to pay it if they're in our district.
District or village?
No, district. Our geographic coverage district, we have the part we contract with the town of Manlius and us.
Right.
It's the way we've always done it, because
Right.
but there's nothing specific on self-pays, or there's another gray area with these high deductible ones. Cause high deductible, they say you don't get any, you won't get anything until your deductible's met. Yet they're giving them credit for $2,100 for an ambulance call. But they aren't getting money, so technically we write it off. Right, wrong, or indifferent. You know, that's a gray area. I just came up, I got another one last week with the VA. You know, the veteran had a $2,100 ambulance bill. And they wanted me to send them to collections, and I asked for more information because you take them to the VA's got to have coverage for the ambulance. They do. So I'm not sure why that went that far. So I let Multivet's going to dive into that some more.
Right.
So
So I guess we can't answer necessarily every single scenario, but we want to cover kind of the basics of what we're looking to do. So if, so how about if, do you have any way of knowing if somebody receives a check from, I'll just pick a company name, like Blue Cross and Blue Shield. So
Yep.
I have Blue Cross and Blue Shield insurance. I go in the ambulance, I get a $2,100 bill. They pay $500 for round numbers, and I get a check for 500. Do you know if,
yeah, so
how to get that money?
yep, in the notes, it'll tell me if they've been paid directly or not.
Okay.
And if they've been paid directly, they go to collections if they haven't paid us.
Okay.
It doesn't matter where they live.
Okay.
Because they've received the check.
Right.
So that's our money, and that's the way we've always done that.
And you know that,
I know that says it right in the notes of the billing history notes.
yeah, because before this is, let's say 7 or 8 years ago. There was people that got checks and they didn't know what to do with it.
Yep. Some people still call and ask us what to do with the check, and we say, please take it to the village office and sign it over.
Okay.
But it's not so much anymore because Blue Cross Blue Shield was the main offender, and they have changed their ways and they now pay us direct, not so much to the individuals. So that's been kind of going away by the wayside.
Okay, so before we get to the answers to those questions, Manley has said that they waive charges in the district after the insurance pays on a case-by-case basis, so they don't necessarily waive the statement was made this way, so I didn't have further discussions with them, but I can before we finalize our process. But the discussion based upon what was written back to me was that they waive cases on a case-by-case basis. Not necessarily everybody in the district gets waived. And they do not waive for anybody outside of their district. So if they live any place outside of the fire protection district, they don't waive. Manoa said they only waive for hardships. And I was told by somebody in Manoa that they only waive for the Manoa Fire District, like we just talked about in the Fayetteville Fire District, if people actually request it, not just as a normal type of process or whatever. So I guess what I'm looking from the trustees for is, do you want to consider a hardship policy in general? Yes or no?
Yes.
And then if we do want to consider a hardship policy for people, would it be for just people within our district, or we can take any considerations for people outside of our district? Any thoughts? I mean, you can have more discussion than a yes or no, but I don't want it to be like, I'm not solving the problem tonight. I want
No,
to
we're not
know
solving
how
it
to get
tonight.
to a better way of discussing the problem.
I will answer.
Okay.
I don't think the board should be involved in this, so you can look at that as a yes or no answer. I think that we're looking at across fire districts and we're trying to figure out ways to collaborate, so there should be a uniform thing. So
There won't be. Until we have one fire district, there won't be a
Casey,
collaborative way to do it.
so he's right. Just so you know, in years past, and you wouldn't know this, it's never been written. We've had agreements with the other villages to have the same rate, to do the same thing. And you heard where we're at now. They arbitrarily do whatever they want when they want to.
Mhm.
So to hold our decision up based on trying to collaborate with the other two agencies,
Okay,
Don't hold your breath. Cause they won't do it.
I understand that, but the assessment of hardship has stymied us in the several.
Well, we have a cure for
Making
that.
decision.
We have a way to around how to determine if somebody has a hardship. That's not the point. The point
Is that
is
the
what
question?
direction we kind of want to go in. Do we want to consider this? They've given us examples of ways and criteria to determine a hardship that does not involve us making a personal decision. It's factual based. It's not just she said, he said, we said, they said. It's actually laid out factually what information we ask for, what information they have to provide in order for us to get to that decision. But I'm only asked the other two communities because I wanted to get an idea of what's going on around us, and it affects us because we cover their communities, they cover ours sometimes, and we cover theirs more than they cover ours.
Right.
I'm sorry, Casey, are you done?
Why don't you take a turn? You know, think.
I'm of the opinion that I'm a yes. It depends on, I'm a yes for a hardship policy, but that policy has to be based on facts. And I haven't heard anything, but we're not gonna discuss that tonight.
Well, we're gonna get to that
I
point,
know
yeah.
we will, I know we will, but just not tonight. So I'm a yes. But just so everybody knows, it's a factual based policy decision. And because it's factual based, it's universally applied. Doesn't matter where you live. It's whoever you serve.
Inside the district or outside or
anywhere.
wherever, right?
You
Okay,
go serve somebody and they owe us for that service, they get the same opportunity to request a hardship relief under the same factual pattern that we apply to everything. So that makes it very uniform across our service. That's how I feel.
okay, that's good to know.
Yes, I mean, because, you know, the original agreement between the three municipalities, as Paul just mentioned, and I've said here many, many, many times. All of a sudden, they started charging, and we did not know they were going to. We only knew it because somebody in the village of Fayetteville all of a sudden got a charge because one of the other municipalities took them in. We did not know. It was a surprise. So it was like they reached into the hat, took it out. Okay, they're not in Manlius, they're not in Manoa. Well, here's a charge.
So we're
Yes.
still gonna we're doing the same procedure now, correct?
So
So,
then we had to go to charge.
so the only thing that I do now, anybody that doesn't live in our fire district goes to collections.
Right.
So,
So
What do you
we're,
mean when you say that?
so if they don't live in so if they don't pay a balance on their bill. So say it's a $2,100 bill, the insurance company covers $1,750 of it. The $350, they get sent to collections. They get 3 chances to pay it.
Okay, so what if we live in the district? What happens with the same scenario?
It's written off
Oh,
because those people pay direct taxes to us.
oh,
They're paying for the service. The person who lives in Manlius, the person who lives in Manoa isn't paying for our service. They're paying for the Manoa and Manlius service. Correct.
right, okay.
That's kind of the way we've always taken a stance.
Trying to, all right, okay. All right, I understand what you're saying now. Thank you.
Actually, I support Paul because I understand the rationale exactly what you're doing. If they're not in our district, we should not in fact be looking at that as far as in order to reduce their payable to us. The other part of it, from my point of view, it's just straight business. Has nothing to do with anything else. It has to do with there are private ambulance services out there. They're not going to do anything different. We're in a position where the folks who are paying into the taxes for us in order to help support the fire department, we should give them benefit. And that's what we're doing currently. So that's why I'm right down the line with Paul.
So can I ask you a clarifying question?
Sure.
And Paul, it kind of pulls you together. When you say you're in line with Paul, what I'm hearing with respect to this hardship policy is that you would not apply it uniformly to folks outside of our district because of the.
so we're talking two different things, if I can just interject
Yeah.
some clarification perhaps. So one is a Fayetteville Fire District resident gets an ambulance call
Yes.
and it's $2,000 and the insurance company pays 1,800 of it, so they owe the Fayetteville Fire Department or billing company $200. If it's a Fayetteville ambulance responding in the Fayetteville district, we do not hard bill them. So if they don't pay that bill after 3 times sending them a bill, that gets written off. If the Fayetteville ambulance goes to Manlius and does the same work at the end of 3 billing cycles, if they don't pay,
I
then it
understand.
goes to collections. Those particular practices have absolutely nothing to do with the waiver of hardship.
Okay, so.
So
why
we're
do
talking
we-
like 2 different things here.
I was
so
trying to
I,
proceed.
I just wanted to
Yes.
kind of bring up what we're each doing when it comes to billing and then the waiver of a hardship. The waiver of a hardship, as I understood what you just said, and I tend to agree with you, is that whoever has a hardship should be able to make an
Financial.
application, a financial hardship, should be able to make an application, no matter where they live in the city, the county, this, around the, outside of our district. But if anyone is going to be making a financial hardship waiver request, that we have a policy, and that's what we had struggled with the last time we had to make a decision about this, that we have a policy that could be evenly spread out amongst anybody that asks for it. The policy that we're looking at, without giving you the policy yet, because I needed some answers before we could finalize that policy, is factual based upon income, basic by proving what your income is, very similar to if you wanted a to go to the town, to the assessor's office and get a reduction on your taxes because of your age, your income, your disability, your this or that or whatever. So it's not the same numbers, it's not the same qualifications, but it's the same type of information that is asked of people to prove that they are deserving, and maybe deserving isn't the right word, but why they would need a waiver because of being able to pay a bill. So that's kind of where we're at. So I wanted people to understand how we bill, why we bill, what we're doing, what the other 2 communities told me they're doing. And that is kind of plays into somewhat into the waiver, but the waiver of hardship is different than those things. And I think that's where you were
I'm confused. I was-
having some trouble with,
Yeah.
because we're not talking apples and apples, we're talking apples and oranges, but we're kind of talking about it together.
It's just a yes or no. Are we gonna work on it?
Well, no, we're going to work on it, but I want to know where the waiver is going to extend to, basically.
What's the
If
yes?
it's going to extend outside of the district to anybody that we go to, that was what Jane's recommendation was. I tend to agree with that. If people have a hardship, they have a hardship wherever they live. And if they can prove it, then we should be able to work with them.
Well, number one, we're not required under state law in order to not bill them like the hospitals basically have to take everybody in, but they still in fact do charge them. And the hospitals in fact do in fact put them to collection, et cetera. They can't necessarily collect, but that's fine. But they are under state regulation where they must service those people. We are not in that kind of situation, so we can actually charge them and pursue them also, even though we cannot turn away what's going on if they need to be transferred, et cetera. If they don't live in our community or whatever, because we go out of town, we go out of county, we're in a lot of different places. It is not just what we talk about locally within the town that we're talking about. We're talking about, we're doing things in the town of Pompey, town of Lafayette. We're going over into Madison County. We're moving into the city of Syracuse occasionally. We're doing all these things.
I'm sorry, I don't understand. Are you for?
I think they should be handled separately, and I don't think that we should give any,
To
Say yes
people
or
out.
no, you've said
So-
everything but those 2 words.
No, but you're.
I think within
you're
our
kind of-
fire district, we can take care of those people because they're participants. It's like being part of an insurance plan.
So yes, we should have a policy.
I have policy for inside the district, but not outside the district. I don't want to do it.
Limited coverage.
So you're saying.
I want to
yes?
be recorded as a yes. This is what I had suggested to Mike after the last meeting, that we would have policies and procedures. I think income verification is a naughty thing to be looking at, and having come from the human service fields, it, you know, That's gonna be, may it be administratively inefficient, so I'd love for to have a policy that the board knows and the clerks implement, so. I'm just stating that, so Jane's, fact-based, universally applied, the distinction between the districts, that's the kind of thing I'll be looking for, I'm just telling you now, so.
Okay, yeah, that's
And I
good.
think
That
we're-
just kind
There's a
of,
lot of agreement about that, so
Right.
yeah. But the devil's in the details.
okay.
And the devil wears Prada.
We're not looking at changing how we do
No.
our day-to-day elections inside our district, correct?
Now,
Okay. Cause I
what
don't,
you're doing, I want you to continue doing with the billing of people
Yeah, yeah.
that are in our fire district. The people that are outside of our fire district, I want you to continue doing what you're doing outside of our fire district. It's only looking at a
the waivers,
situation. We had a request recently for consideration of a bill, and the consideration, the request never included any kind of hardship as far as any financial hardship was concerned. It included information how we charge more than New York City for ambulances. So, service. So, I just brought this up because we've had a very lengthy discussion at a previous meeting, trying to make determination without having a policy or criteria or factual information. That we didn't really ever look at in that way before as a board, over a lot of years.
Yeah.
So we're just trying to come up with something a little more cut and dry. Here's the procedure. This is what you have to do. This is what your income has to be. And this is how the decision is made, not just because you're Jane Doe coming in and you're crying here at the board table, or either, you know, requesting it by a letter. You've got to show us that you, just like if you were applying for any kind of tax relief on your property taxes or
Yeah.
any other types of situations where you have to apply for assistance for HEAP or any other kind of program that's out there. You have to show what your income is. You have to show why you need the assistance.
I just wanted to make sure we weren't gonna try to go to some other convoluted thing that. If the sun sets in the west, we'll give it to them. If it doesn't, they're in
No.
here, they're out of there. I think ours is pretty cut and dry inside our district territory.
No, there's plenty of people that I know, people in our district, in our village, that have not only paid the bill, but then they make a donation besides, because you've come and you've brought them the services that they needed at the time.
Yep.
So there's a lot of people that are overly generous, along with the people that maybe have some financial hardships that need to have a little help. So
Yep.
I was just trying to figure out where we should go. So we'll put together a couple of different proposals. And hopefully for the next meeting, we can get it to you sooner than the meeting, obviously, and you can look it over. We can discuss it then, or you can get back to me with corrections and changes or suggestions, then we can go from there to finalize it, just so we get it in place sooner than later before we have the requests that we don't know how to answer.
Yeah.
So,
When we do come up with something. If we agree on, we have to be very careful of how we say it. So that people don't think that if Manlius comes in, that they're gonna fall under.
well, this is, the only thing we're putting in is a waiver
Yeah,
if we
We have to
provide,
be careful the way
if
we.
we provide services,
the
not
way
for
we
Manlius
have
and
to be
Manoa.
Very careful.
Okay. All right, thanks, sorry.
No, it's all good.
Anything else for the chief? Thank you. Glad you came back rested up and. Tyler? Okay, for DPW?
We got some summer help, seasonal help that I'd like to get started next Monday, May 18th. We had 3 originally, 1 dropped out today. First one's Connor Yamaki, the second with us, he worked with us last year. Good kid, good worker, and the other one's Escher High, he's actually the son of one of our employees now, Alan Smith. Also a college student. So I'd like those guys to start May 18th. We talked about it in the budget workshop and for a period of 13 weeks.
And their pay was in the budget, I don't remember
Yep.
what it was, but whatever we approved for summer help for the budget. All right, so.
I move to approve.
Move. Second, any other discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
The person that I talked to you about, I told him to send the guy up here to get her application, but he's a city school district teacher.
Oh.
So he might not be available till the end of June, so it might be a shorter term type of
Yeah,
summer
that's
help, so.
Yep.
I told him to talk to you, or put an application in and then you would follow whatever the normal process is. Bring it back to us, but it's nothing we had to like try and approve this meeting or maybe not even next meeting. if
Yeah.
it Doesn't
Yeah,
get
that's
to it or whatever.
Two coming in early before Memorial Day will be a lot of help just to get ready. Prep for the parade. Some parts.
If you can get one more, it would be great. At
Yeah.
that point, you're not necessarily looking to do 4 this year.
We budgeted. up
Yeah, we
for-
budgeted for 4. I was banking on 3 if we could get 3 to apply.
Perfect.
So. I have some quote from Bartlett. Bear with me, came in really late today. One's for pruning the entire gateway, Worthy Drive, Limestone, Genesee Street. There's 6 crab apples. Sugar maple, serviceberry, couple more crab apples. That comes out to be. In total. $2,760. 311 Warren Street. Removal of sugar maple. Rather large, so $2,400. These are all assessed as by Bartlett for removal or pruning. So we based it on their knowledge. 109 Orchard Street, it's honey locust, needs to be pruned. Quite a bit of that in it, some power lines. That's only $450. We have 2 Bishop Drive, sugar maple, it needs removal. Then another sugar maple, which should be pruned out. Total was $1,425.
What was the last one on Bishop Drive?
2 sugar maples.
Oh,
One
2
removal,
sugar.
One.
Okay, got it.
Remove that one.
That was
Oh.
1,400.
Yeah, I'll set all these aside and also have, I can email most of you. Just to look over the work. 105 and 107 Woodmansee. 105 is a removal of a sugar maple, 107 was a pruning. That was $2,400. Then 405 Warren Street is a pruning. 3 ash trees. For $750. And, well, great. Complete total, I did not get, so they all came.
They didn't.
Extremely late.
Really? Yeah,
I
they
just
didn't.
printed
give
these
you,
off before they came.
I can tell you real quick here.
Did they, does this encompass the list that was developed between, the tree commission
The
and
hazard.
DPW?
This, most of these are not on there. I think one might be. These are all lists that I've had for quite a while, trying to get work quoted. People calling and send them out, kind of assess the trees, part of will stop. Decide whether or not to be pruned or removed and we base everything off that right now. So that's basically the list that I had. It's kind of been adding up since winter and bucket truck being down.
And you said you had the other list too, though.
I do have the hazards, yes.
Yeah.
He's meeting me, was supposed to be today, but it was running late, so hopefully midweek.
Yeah, he's making
Meeting on
progress.
Wednesday at the senior.
I'm
center.
adding it twice because I don't want to goof it up. But I probably could even add in it twice, goof it up.
Well, we know
Uh,
that
10,000
whatever the total is,
185.
whatever the total is, we have sufficient money in the budget, as we all know from recent examination, and we
Yeah,
have
there's-
money for
There's
additional.
plenty of money in my tree budget.
For this
For
work.
extra, yeah, this work that's just been. Waiting on the post for a while.
Okay, so motion to, or, well, does anybody want to make a motion to proceed with the work that he just said in the amount of $10,185?
I would like to move that we accept that, all of those.
All those proposals?
Yes.
Okay. Second, then it's tree budget for the DPW. Any other discussion? All in favor? Right.
And lastly, surplus, we'd like to surplus the John Deere side by side. Received from the fire department. Kirkville Fire Department's interested in it. One of their the officers stopped down to work for the Manoa Sewer Department and he took a look at it. That's something they were interested in. We haven't used it since we got it from them. It really just sits and it's quite a bit of work. So we can help them out and get some kind of payment in return. I'll take a look at it. I don't have the year for you or
99.
99 details of it, but
Take a motion, first of all, to surplus the 1999 John Doe side by side.
Second,
All in favor? And then we've had interest shown by Kirkville Fire Company to purchase such a piece of equipment. I don't know if we have a price in mind that you wanna think about, or.
I can kind of look up. Yeah. I can kinda-
Don't talk about it
It's
here.
in- Not in the greatest. shape. Yeah.
It's gonna cost them more just in putting tires on it than it's worth.
So you're thinking $1,000, $1,500,
I
500? I told them we were gonna talk about it.
I can kind of look and try to see if we can
I'll
get some
make a
kind
motion
of.
to.
Or Tyler's recommendation, or
To surplus the side by side for any amount above $500. That's my motion.
so 500 or above is okay with
This
you.
is-
I'll second that.
Okay, everybody good? Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
You think we'll get 500 out of it?
Oh, that was too high? Why didn't you say something?
was trying to say,
I mean, I was
Lower,
gonna say
lower?
500.
give it to them.
Oh,
What would you say, Tyler?
I was gonna say bottom line 500.
Let them, if they'll pay it.
Yeah,
But
I
it-
mean, we'll
I
see.
mean, here's what's going on, actually. We're already past that. If you have a problem with that, you'll be having conversations, please come back to us.
Yeah.
We have no problem with that whatsoever. I understand what kind of situation we're all in, but
It's been sitting 3 years and the tires are flat and old and.
I know what you're saying. Paul.
It's in tough shape.
It runs, but. Not for anything we can use it for.
Okay.
We can't take it up and down from our shop, so.
best offer. I'm not, I do not need,
If
I
you want
don't
to
think
do,
we need you to come back to get permission.
if you want to do a best
You think
offer,
they
I'll,
should
You need to tip 500 or best
and I
offer.
second the amendment.
I say aye.
Okay, all right.
I'd say yes.
Space is more valuable
It
than that
really
unit.
is. It really is.
So, any other questions about this or no?
Not about that.
Okay, that's. Okay. Can you hold on for 1 second?
Sure.
Or you will write it down,
Again,
because I would have to write it down. Just about our Auctions International. So the grapple truck, when it got listed at Auctions International, they transposed the numbers for the hours on the truck for the mileage on the truck. So the person that bought the truck at the auction does not want it because he thought he was getting something with low miles and a really good price. And he still would have.
He wants it.
He
just-
wants it, but
thinks
he,
can
but
renegotiate the
he
price.
wants to see about the price. So you countered with an offer, correct? Or you
He
didn't.
countered with an offer.
He countered with an offer,
A lot
but we
lower
didn't.
than I
we didn't take
it
it
right
out.
back though.
So the grapple truck is still the Village of Fayetteville's. The dump truck, the same thing happened to it. Right?
Well, yes,
Us
they use the exact same hours for the grapple truck as they use for the mileage on the dump truck.
Okay.
So they have identical hours. I don't know.
Well, anyways, the
Oh,
person that bought the dump truck still wants the dump truck, so that one is going through, so we have one. But we're gonna put that back out to auction. It's already surplus, so we're gonna put that back out to auction, along with the trash recycling, whatever the truck it was.
Again.
We're gonna put that up again. And was there a chance that it might go back to auction before another board meeting? That's where I'm going.
I
with
mean, it
this.
could really go at any time, depending on how we set up the board meetings or if it's already been. And obviously we want approval on what they offered at the end.
So if I wanna just get a feeling from the board, if it goes back to auction. And we have to approve its sale in between a board meeting, are people comfortable doing that based upon what we've already done with this vehicle? Or do we need to wait and reconvene? That would hold us up from putting it back on the auction block. If we have, and it may just coincide with the meeting anyway. So,
okay.
We typically just, you come in, say, this is what's being offered. We say, yes, that's okay. That's our approval. It's typically you come in with a hard number that's been given to you.
Exactly, they finished the bid on.
I'd
usually
like,
They line it up with a board meeting. You have 3 days to respond.
yeah, I'd like to give you the flexibility to exercise your judgment in accepting these bids. It feels a bit,
I believe it'll get roughly the same. I mean, I don't think it's gonna go down too much from what this in particular truck, I don't think it's gonna be too much less, if less, than what the original bids were on.
when we put it out for auction. the safeguard is we don't have to accept any of the bids.
Right.
So if it doesn't come back where Tyler thinks it needs to come back and we want to hold it for a different auction later on,
Do
we
you
can do
have
that.
a dollar amount you think, I don't, whatever the machinery is, if you can give us a dollar amount that you think it's worth accepting a bid on, no lower than, like, you don't have to give me the best, but you're like, I wouldn't take anything lower than this.
Really what we got for it, or within 1,000 too. That's.
So what did he bid?
About 30,000, I think he did on it, just
So-
over,
28.
so I would say 28 minimum. I would-
So I would make a move to give Tyler permission to accept a bid for
20,000 or more.
20,000 or higher.
You know, me and Mark had talked about, other municipalities looking for equipment. Right now, especially local municipalities, that window between the first of the year and May. Would we get more interest right after June 1st, putting it up? Or should we do it right now?
So let me ask that question then. You may get more interest. Is the interest going to be of such a significant difference that it pays for X? Or are you better off sticking with your own schedule, getting these tasks done and over with, so that you have more
Yeah.
bandwidth to move on to, I don't know, but
Declining offers, you must counter offer, that's the only.
Oh, is that what it is?
Oh,
Well, we can cover offer with money. Good 28,000 for 30 or whatever.
So I can have them listed as early as tomorrow. Or if we're gonna do a 10-day and line it up in the next board meeting, if you want me to bring it back, if not.
I don't know, I just wanted to make sure that we're all here
Email.
talking now, so
Yep.
this is a good time to say it rather than have to email you later, text you later about this whole deal, so.
well, there's a live motion. Can't you see it dancing on the TV?
All right, any other discussion about the motion? So we're gonna get authorized Tyler to put it back out for bid, take anything 28,000 or above in his judgment and counter offer whatever he needs to do. And then, if that changes, you'll have to come back again or whatever. So that's the motion. All in favor?
You need a second.
I need a second.
Oh, well,
You need a second first.
you mean it was
Take easy.
dancing alone, Gene? I thought there was
I-
two people
I still
dancing.
wanna-
on-
I still want, I mean, if they come in with an offer and it's in the range that we just voted on, I haven't voted yet. So it's still up to you.
Yeah, that's.
Okay,
Or
and-
I can send an email
Yeah,
out to
that-
everybody's.
you know.
It's just, yeah, just to keep us up.
I
Make sure you-
personally- I personally would just soon have Tyler be the one saying,
That's what we're authorizing.
well, okay, but you put a number in there.
That's because that's the number he
'Cause
gave.
he doesn't, he's not gonna take a number lower than 28,000.
This is just on the
I
dump
have
truck,
no
right?
idea.
No, on the gravel truck.
So I don't have the credentials to understand how much we should or should not ask for. I'm trying to give Tyler our authority
Right.
to exercise his judgment.
That's what I
Okay,
want.
so you second my motion?
No. I want Tyler to make the decision.
He is, but we have to give him authority to do it.
Do we have to
So
give-
James
We
giving
are.
him
You
authority.
give him the authority.
Do you want a second James motion then?
I make
No.
this.
All right, so Jane,
We'll count it as a second.
Dan second. Any other discussion on this fine subject? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
That was a lot for a quickie.
I thought it was gonna be quick. Yes, sorry, yep.
Tyler and I had an opportunity to speak last week about a few things related to the trees. And I also shared with him my observation of some needs for work and supplies at our playgrounds. I have a 3-year-old in my life and he loves the Colton Park playground more than any. So that's the one that's first to mind. But I'm also talking about all the playgrounds. I was that childcare center director, multiple school-age childcare programs, and we had accidents, and we need 12 inches of mulch on our playgrounds in order to meet safety standards. And I think that I'm proposing that we consider getting that mulch in as soon as possible, because the kids are on the playgrounds doing an inspection of every other thing that we might need for the playgrounds. And I have one other thing about Coulter Park, but I'll put that on the table for discussion.
Coulter and Washington are 12. We dug those out. I think I mentioned that to you. We put Pea Stone
Can you
down.
speak a little bit louder?
Coulter Park and Washington Park, they've both been recently renovated in the last 10 years. We dug those completely out. We put the Pea Stone base, we went by everything we were supposed to. There is 12 inches of mulch in there. The issue you were talking about was Canal Landing. And you said it's dirt under the top
I
there.
meant Canal Valley.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I
So
said.
that's okay. Canal Landing, there was 12 inches of playground mulch.
Until
When
it
we
gets
put it
big.
in, I mean, it's really obviously
It's-
broken down into
Well,
soil now. And we do top cover it, but it should be dug out at some point, fully replaced.
And the top cover you told me needed to be 12 inches.
The top cover, right now, what we've been doing the last probably 10 years is we put a top cover over the original 12 inches. So for what's broken down now, I think in the future it needs to be dug out and replaced with a full 12 inches, yes. But I don't necessarily know if it's not up to standard, if it's broken down mulch over time. The mulch under that top layer is still mulch. It just doesn't look like mulch anymore because it's broken down over.
If I see a black mat,
Oh, the
it
black
doesn't-
mats they were told, at one point, we were told to put them under the swings. For the scuffing, so.
but
those-
no mulch on top of them?
Not.
They're
sweet.
supposed to be raking it over the top, so if you see that, I'll make sure that we rake it back over, but you won't have 12 inches of mulch on top of that black mat. That's to prevent the rutting and the holes that they dig in their feet. So,
That's so kids can. Yeah, so kids can, because
Surprised
they
need to be
drag
covered
their
at all.
feet to stop. They
So
have to.
that one, why don't you look into that, and then you
I can
go
look
talk
into
about
those
it,
or-
we can bring it back to the next board meeting, if
Yeah.
there's
They-
a cost involved, you
At
can.
the
split the cost.
schools.
yeah,
And they're rubber mats now. They're really much nicer mats. And if the kid falls off the swing, they're gonna land on that kind of rubber mat versus getting. I don't know. I don't know anything about safety. I'm not. pretending.
Well, you wanna look at that and then bring it to us for the next meeting, we can make it.
Let's figure out what the guiding state law highest level of recommendations are, so that we can all be on the same page about what various surfaces mean. Yeah, so it's tough when you're responsible for kids' safety and something happens. We potentially have a liability issue if we are not meeting those standards. Okay,
That Calder Park, you said?
I meant canal.
Oh, okay, no, I didn't know if there
Canal
was
the
something
whole
else, I
time.
wanted to.
So, I meant canal on that too.
I do it all. the time.
I would really love it if we could get that garden in front of Canal Landing Playground cleaned up prior to, the parade. It was put in professionally and it's really hard to figure out what should be there and what shouldn't be there. So it's a mess. So
Pat White did the senior center today, so if you want me to have him look at that, or unless you think you wanna look.
For
at
our
it.
guys to be able to decipher weeds from plants in there. it's not-
No.
So I'll ask him. to
that's
look
why
at
I
that.
can't touch it either. I'll
I'm-
probably take out a perennial.
Flowers and
I can
weeds,
go down.
they're overgrown pretty.
I can go help with that. I can tell the difference with my background, what's. Should stay and what should go,
All right, so we'll talk about it.
but I'm not gonna do all the pulling. Okay.
So we'll work on that.
Great.
I thought of it the other day, because you and I had talked about it before, maybe last fall, we talked about it, I don't know when, but sometime when the weeds were growing.
I just get to be in the playground more than you.
Okay, chicken permits, sorry, it took us all this time, but
Oh,
the chickens are on the move again, this is.
That they are, that they are. Do you have any complaints?
No, but we haven't had any comments, complaints, concerns. We didn't send out notices, just to confirm that they're moving on down the road.
So
You
if the
wanna just give
chickens,
a quick summary what you're doing?
the chickens started on South Manley Street, they moved to Clinton and Warren.
Well, actually, the ones in South Manly stayed on South.
Oh, they
Manly.
stayed there.
Stayed.
You
New
moved.
owners picked us up, and then we picked up chickens on Warren Street, 209.
Yep.
And now we're moving to 201, and we want bring the chickens with us.
So we just thought it was a good record because the village board issues the permits for you to have your chickens. And so rather than lose track of where your chickens may be.
Camping.
We thought it would be best just to, put something in the minutes to show that we acknowledged it and as far as I know, we haven't had any complaint from any of the neighbors, any of the locations.
I mean, we have lost a chicken or two, like I will admit that a chicken has gone over the fence every now and then. But the neighbors, will alert us that a chicken is on the loose and we have, caught the chickens and brought the chickens back into the yard and.
Yeah.
All seems to be good, so.
Yeah, it's all right. We vote then.
So why don't we just have a motion
Yeah,
to
so-
allow them to move their chicken coop down the street?
Are you
We're
taking?
going to leave the chicken coop there, just because it's so structured into the hill. And we'll try to do some plantings on it or something.
Are you
Yeah.
taking the chicken out? Rooster?
That is the big question, because a lot of people do reference that rooster, so we're not certain as to what we're doing.
Well, across the street is the flamingo and you got the chicken.
Right, and then there's
So-
a goat somewhere
Yeah,
also, like,
Yeah.
E-I-E-I-O.
So the chicken's staying, you think?
it could say, we'll see.
Okay,
Well, as far as the permit.
So
or
motion to,
I moved.
Second.
I'll second.
moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Okay.
It's official, they're on the move.
I'd have some humor in the meeting.
Yes. Well, thank you for sitting through on that.
Next is our Pride Month celebration, which we have scheduled for June 1st at 9 a.m.
Correct. And I'll move on. that.
June is the Pride Month. We've typically had the flag displayed for the month of June.
So we'll raise the flag on the first.
Do the flag at 9 a.m. Monday on the 1st.
So moved by Mark, second by
Second, I'll second.
Jane. Discussion?
So I spoke with Mark, I sent a text to Mike earlier today that, choosing Monday at 9 a.m. is not the way we usually celebrate things. And Pride is something that is geared toward young people and families to feel welcome in their community. And I would like us to reconsider that and make it Sunday, the 31st at noon, rather than a work day where kids are at school and the most of our workforce is working. If we had something like that at noon, it allows people who are congregants of our local church, one of which is a very supportive community, could attend because they're there. Pride is very important to youth, and being a welcoming community signals to our young people who are questioning and or figuring out who they are, that they are seen. Having some young people at our Pride event would be a success. And I brought up the fact that our young people are at very high risk, who are questioning, are at very high risk of suicide, self-harm, mental illness, homelessness, and exploitation. I have followed all the Pride celebrations since Rubiagno did the first one many years ago as a young person. And I communicated with her today, and she recommended I discuss this. When we read off the proclamation, when Mike reads off the proclamation, it's a really beautiful document. And having this event at this time does not align with what we say in our proclamation. And I think that that's something that is an unnecessary misalignment. We don't want to put things about our pride, the community that would identify with this event in the closet.
To be honest with you, we've actually had designation of Pride Month in different days of the week. And you're aware of that too. You've attended all of them, not all of them occurred on the weekend. Some of them occurred during the week. And I remember having and drawing people from all locations during the week as well. And it does make a difference as far as whether somebody can attend or not. And I agree with you about that. It's
It's a fact.
a fact.
Mhm.
The other part is, no matter what day we do, we're gonna have some of that to some degree also. That's the other part that goes with it. And is there a perfect time? I can't say yes to that, and I can't say no, because I really don't think any of us really know. But I do think it's important for us to make sure that people know that they're welcome in our community. And that's what I'm looking for, so everybody in our community as well knows that they're welcome. That's what I think thing should be.
That's symbolized by the flag that is on display for the month or whatever. I just feel that, June is the month and starting it on the first is.
What about later in the
Time to
day?
do it.
It's kind of compromise, for the first thing in the morning.
I can be open to that, but there isn't high school children that attend this event, in my recollection of any of the events that have been here.
I mean, not necessarily be high school, but.
Well, that's what's being inferred here. So I'm just saying,
Big youth
I
is
think
what
the
I heard,
crowd
so
has
different
been,
ages.
right, the crowd has been the crowd fairly regularly every time that I've been here for it. Over the years since we've been instituted. I'm not saying that they shouldn't come. I'm not saying that we should, we're not trying to plan it so that people can't attend. But there's gonna be, as Mark said, there's times where people can't attend something that's going on. And our village is one of the few that actually displays that flag for the whole month. I don't think Manoa does, and I don't think Manly's does. That's
The
an
town
example.
does.
Well, the town is in Fayetteville, New York, the village. So there, we have it two places in Fayetteville. I'm just saying, I'm not, I don't mind, we can change the time if you want to, but
You
I
will
don't
change the
think that
date.
should be changing the date. It's the month of June. I have people in the community that approach me with other opinions and reactions to the pride flag being out for a month.
Well, we
So,
don't,
I'm
we
not-
don't know that.
Pardon me?
We don't know of that until you just said that, nor do we know. the
Nor
number
do
of
I promote
complaints.
it with other people to have that opinion that we shouldn't have the flag
Oh,
out there for the month.
Yeah.
I defend what we do.
Mhm.
And I am defending what we do, but
I am of the opinion that time and day are hard to select. I don't think. First of all, I don't have any decision on what time or day. If June, it happens to be Pride Month, I have no problem keeping the flag up all year. So
right,
I have no issue with displaying the flag. I think it'd be great to keep it up all year. And I don't think the time or day should ever be. I don't think the leaders of the village intend a time or day to reflect our,
negative.
our lack of interest in doing this. I think they just have to be selected and, if we want to have more interest shown, like if we want to show more support and more interest, just from a overall village perspective, then supporting other events that happen throughout the community. I don't know how to do that. I don't know whether we advertise it. I don't know how to do that. I'm not recommending that we take on new events right now, because it's really too late. We can't just come up with new events. I just think that the time and the date in which the flag gets raised is not to be an indicator of good support or not good support for the gay community. I think the fact that the flag is raised is the support. I would be happy to leave that flag up all year long, like I've said. I'd love to have the gay community understand that we're here, we're in support, we are an inclusive community. Whether that event takes place on a Sunday at 12 or on a Monday at 9, for my small opinion, I don't know that that should be read. So I don't know how to make that decision on when it should be done.
And I look at it so much
Other
as
than
the
in month.
ceremony is just kicking off literally.
Yeah.
The beginning of the month,
And we
and acknowledging it, and here it is.
Yeah.
First
I mean,
of
that's
the month,
how I see
beginning of
it,
the
so.
day. It's more an acknowledgement of the forthcoming. Dan?
I go with June 1st, but that's.
Well, you made a motion.
I've made the motion,
Do we
Jane
want-
seconded it.
Seconded it, so.
Yeah, I did. I didn't know, I didn't even know that was an issue. I don't know how to change the time. I can understand how a 9 o'clock Monday morning kind of feels like a weird time.
We've done it that time in the past.
In the
or
past,
whatever,
right.
But not,
But not
ev-
always.
no, I mean, it's varied pretty much every year. It's been a different, it's
been
been
different.
on a weekend at times when it's the June 1st or that time.
I don't know the school timings. I
Um,
know, I would say try to, we wanted to incorporate, younger, and I don't understand why we're just focusing on younger. I think it.
Well, it's for everybody. It's
Age
not,
spectrum,
right, it's not
right.
for one group or another group.
But I don't know how you choose a time later on in the day that is not going to be conflicted with, like if you have, school age kids, you know, you have events after school. They're all over the place. You have people, I will say this, I've driven enough up and down this roadway between 4:30 PM and 5:30 PM, and there are a ton of cars. So
Right.
if we want good visibility, anyway, I don't know how to pick another date and time, so I'm fine with what has been chosen. So I stay with my second.
Okay. Any other discussion? We'll take a vote then.
I'm
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, June 1st at 9 o'clock. Let's start there. All in favor?
No.
Aye.
Okay.
Opposed?
Yes,
Opposed? Thank
disappointed.
I'm disappointed in the disappointment. Because this is actually a celebration for God's sake for our community.
Tell that to my family,
Be happy,
tell that to my friends.
be happy
The
to, I do
people
all
who
the
stand in
time.
the audience and then
It's
made
something
that
to
comment.
think about. An acknowledgement of the month, as far as the celebration, maybe we do need to put a little bit more thought to another time. It is.
Sure, I mean, raising. If it's a
It's like raising.
celebration, we want a celebration. not
Right.
just a-
I don't
To
want
me,
to,
it's not so much a celebration, it's an acknowledgement,
Right.
flag raising,
Right.
right,
so.
and I don't want to put it off a week and then do it after a week of the month has gone by. Rather do it on the 1st. Next is the resolution to amend our nationwide 457B plan.
Yeah,
It's-
this is something, I think I left you guys each a copy of the resolution and then
Thanks.
to bring you an example. Years ago, when there was some changes made, eventually 2004. It came before the board in the form of a resolution, so that was the template. That led me to present this to you. I've made some changes, talking with our representative for Nationwide. And this is one more that I think adds a good benefit to our employees. It's on the application, one of the options for contribution elections is to be able to do raw. You could do pre-tax in a dollar amount or percentage amount, but this gives them a third option so they can do it after tax. Which would be helpful for people who, you know, if they're in different. They might need that opportunity. Make it as post-tax and. You have something,
So the benefit of a Roth is if you contribute monies into a Roth account, it's post-tax. If you start contributing those monies at a younger age, your tax bracket is going to be probably in a smaller tax bracket. And when you're ready to take those monies out, you're in a higher tax bracket, so goes the thinking. And you don't get taxed on that money. So you're not gonna get taxed at a higher rate down the road. So you have an investment account where you are putting in monies pre-tax. Right, before you're taxed. When you take those monies out 30 years down the road, you're gonna be taxed at your income rate then, and that's usually higher. So,
This is just another option for our employees in order to take advantage of it. So
it's a good option.
for them to actually
I
build.
feel like
their-
it's a good benefit, it enhances an option. a benefit that we give them to begin with.
Right.
By including this option.
And it's at no cost to the village, right?
And it's at no cost,
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
So that's the first question I had for her, if there was any changes, that we're doing, is there an implication? Is there a reason why I have to have a special approval for this? And I know there's other provisions that had, changed, for catch-up contributions on the, this gives them that opportunity to do that. So thank you for explaining it, because.
Also, it's my understanding, which I'm not a state or tax person, but my understanding, if you would die and have a Roth IRA, that money can go to your
Yeah,
beneficiary
and they don't get
still
taxed.
tax free. Whereas your IRA money,
Exactly.
traditional IRA money, it's taxed and you only have 10 years to take parts of that out so that you don't get taxed that like say $100,000 worth of tax as opposed to 10,000 a year for 10 years and lose less in taxes perhaps. Right. To that, so. True. So a motion to
Yes.
pass
This one.
this
I'll second.
resolution. Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Trustee updates. You want to start with Jane?
Start with me, Jane.
Yes, so, we had the public meeting last week for
Can I
the.
interrupt you real quick?
Sure can.
One thing I realized that we overlooked on the, we needed to make note of that,
Oh,
the resignation from Joe
Oh,
Marshall.
yeah.
Just wanted.
Sorry, I missed that too. I put an X through the line before I said it, so, I entertain a motion to accept the resignation with regret from Julia Marshall, from our zoning board of appeals. They have sold their home in Fayetteville and they'll be moving somewhere, but I don't know just where, but she's resigning from the zoning board of appeals, so with regrets, because she's been a good member of that for quite a long time.
So move.
Yeah,
Moved by-
Second.
Second, okay.
And with
Okay.
that,
All in favor?
I,
Aye. Yep. Go ahead, Karen.
So, we would need to fill, remain her position with one of the associates. So if I could suggest, oh, I don't have a name to,
No, for the associate.
so Larry Quinn is
Is
an
the-
associate that's been on the board for a while, so I think it would be
Okay,
prudent
it's
to
usually
allocate
be-
him to a full member.
But elevate the longest associate member into that position, so a motion to
I so move.
move Larry Quinn. Sorry.
Second.
All in
Can
favor?
we send? Aye.
Yeah, okay, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
We sent her a special letter from all of us because she had made a lasting contribution to the village.
I'm very sad.
So
to see
many
it.
ways, yeah.
I really need that.
Yeah, we'll come up with something that we can sign in there for everybody to stop in, we'll let you know when it's ready.
Yes, thank you.
In particular, their work on the library is, oh, it's just so impressive. Holmes King's Conquest. Anyway,
Her firm, yeah.
they did a great job.
Okay, good, thanks. All right,
Okay.
thanks Karen for bringing that up.
Yes.
Jane is,
well done. All right.
I'm not
Um,
interrupting anymore.
Okay, so the public meeting was last week. We had some good attendance at the public meeting. It also kicked off the public access to the working draft of the zoning code update. It's for those of you, I think you were all at the meeting. It's all been, the code's been revised. It's intended to be user-friendly for everybody across the board. And the zoning committee will be meeting, I think this week. I don't remember the exact date, so I will have to get that out. We'll post it on the website. The zoning committee will be meeting to review with the consultants to review public comments that have been provided so far. It is the zoning committee's responsibility now to get to a working draft that we're comfortable submitting to this board of trustees for consideration. Once that's done, which we're expecting it to be done this month, so that beginning of June, this board will have a working draft to be considering for for the draft of the code update. At that point, we will begin the seeker review. That will take several steps along the way. So we'll start those steps once this board receives the draft. And this process will take place throughout the summer. And one of the steps that's very critical, Danny, you've mentioned this, and it's very critical that we get the working draft. Once we receive it as a board, that draft also gets sent to Onondaga County Planning Board. And they have to undertake a review of that, and they meet once a month. So they have very defined dates by which material must be received for them to consider it during their monthly meeting. The receipt date is in the beginning of the month. The meeting date is like middle of the month. I just looked at them. So June and July, we're hoping we can get a draft to them for their June review. The public will have access throughout all of this time. It is posted on the village website, will remain posted on the village website. We have but we've elevated this information to the front page of the website, so folks don't have to try to, figure out where it is, but they have an easy access to everything. And my intent is to keep it elevated, keep it up front on the very first page of our website throughout this entire process. I don't want anyone having to kind of like dig for it, Am I forgetting anything? I think that's it, really. I don't have specific dates to provide to folks because we're just not at that point now. The zoning committee has the next step. They have to do their homework. Assuming that is done within a couple of weeks of time, then we will get a working draft to the board. That hopefully will be at our beginning meeting in June. Want to give the board plenty of time also for review. I'm available to talk with any one of you if you have any questions about how this draft works, how a person would open it up and, apply the new sections to any kind of process that they're going through, be it a zoning board, planning review process, ZBA process. Well, there is one other thing that's kind of cool that I don't know that it's been posted on our website yet. The consultants have this opportunity that you can click on their link and you can look at the new proposed zoning map, and then you can literally slide this little thing over and
I did capture that link, so it is.
It is good. So you can then, a person can then do more of a side-by-side comparison. How is this different? I think that's helpful to many folks. Another way to do it is obviously getting a hard copy, doing side-by-side, which we had at the meeting. That I sent with a copy. But yeah, I don't know. Does anybody have any questions about?
No, I thought the meeting was well presented to people, and I thought that what I saw anyway was very easily understood from somebody that, was familiar with it,
Yeah.
but not as familiar as the working of it with like a planning board member or something like that, or a developer that's used to going to planning board meetings and things like that. It was easily viewable and understandable to see where some of the changes were, some of the recommendations. I thought the way the tables were laid out was nice because it showed what all the uses were allowed for different areas of the zone. I found it
Yeah, so the
helpful
idea
to
is
see that laid out the way it was.
that table, it was not just for display, and the table is here in the village for anybody to come in and look at. That's not intended just for the meeting. That is how our code's gonna read. So when a developer comes in and says, I would like to put a dress shop here, they can easily go, they can understand what zoning district that building sits in, then they can go to the use table and know, is a dress shop allowed? And if it's allowed, is it by permit? Is it allowed by site plan review? Or is it allowed by special use permit? And so they immediately, quickly can understand what process they have to go through.
Great.
Anybody else? I mean, I do honestly, want to make myself available to help if anybody's confused about how a certain newly proposed section is supposed to work.
Um. Tremendous work, great events, and you can tell that experts made this report, made this draft, have not been able to digest it because it was only Wednesday. And I found that I couldn't understand the boards without a person walking me through it. So I'm a little bit concerned that the public has not had enough opportunity to absorb it. And I'm a little concerned that if the zoning committee is taking these public comments now, and that's a step, and when they don't go back to that, that there isn't enough opportunity for the public to give input at this stage. You know, kudos on everything you've done in terms of
Yeah.
putting it out to the public. But one of the things that would have benefited me, just as a villager, would have been some kind of presentation highlighting the most important changes. And in the absence of that, I'm floundering a little bit reading it. And I wonder if some kind of recording could be done, a simple recording that we could put on the website with the plan to help highlight those things.
It's not, we talked at the committee quite a bit about how to do a comparative. We were just calling it a red line. The fact that the whole layout of the code has been changed so much that we can't do a comparison. If we do any kind of video presentation like that, it is really going to be not so much quote unquote highlighting major changes. Because we just can't do that. There's too much has moved around, but all we could do is say, here's the new zoning district map. I mean, it's really not, I don't mean to laugh, but if we went through every tiny little block that got changed, that video itself would be too long. So it's not, and then if we go into the text of it all, the written word of it all, there's so much that has not been changed. There's a ton that has not been changed, but it's been organized in a way that is more easily understood and applied when you're going through the zoning, or when you're going through like site plan review, right? So
I
hear what you're
really
saying.
was not, if I wasn't clear, I was absolutely not talking for a red line. I was not talking for any page by page or anything like that. What are the 5 major changes, for instance?
I don't know that we can. I understand what you're asking. I will give it some thought. We're gonna meet. I'll bring it to the committee. I don't think it can be distilled down that easily. 5 major changes, like, well, depends. So, but let me bring it to the committee. Let me bring it to the committee. As far as the public, I don't disagree with you that for some folks, you know, in our community that have never even looked at zoning, to come in and look at this and say, oh yeah, this is great. They would absolutely need a course 101 on how to get through it. I don't think we're here to do that. This is going to be a decision among the board. So that's my final statement is, when we get the draft of the working draft of the code, public can still review this and we can receive all their comments. There is no ending to that time period. All we want to do is hear what people, take in what people have said so far, the committee itself. And then the committee wants to hand it over to the board to do the rest of the review, because it's our responsibility, not the committee's. So that's the main, that is the next step. As a board, if we need more time, if, you know, this is all going to be a board decision. And so I will bring your comments to the committee and see if there is, maybe someone's got a good idea on the committee and how we can do something like that. Get it posted on the website. I don't know.
I put a post-it note on one board and I said, chapter 167 in the code. So when I looked at the sections related to trees and the tree commission, there isn't a great alignment between the community forest management plan and what is in the code. And so I think that's something that needs to be discussed. And there's a procedure for consulting with the Historic Preservation Commission, but the mentions of the tree commission are very vague in terms of,
Where in the,
But not in the, what you're reviewing. You're not changing the
We're
tree.
not
You're not
changing-
looking at that.
so, the historic preservation portion has not been changed. That just is continuing forward. So if your comment is within that portion, then we can look at it relative to what the tree commission is doing. If your comment is more in what, like, the planning board is supposed to take into consider, I'm not sure where the tree commission is supposed to be mentioned. That's not.
so here's a couple of things. Under the landscape and buffer requirements, this is scribble. It does not align sufficiently with the tree commission. The tree commission is vaguely mentioned as somebody you have to consult with. So that approval process should include consultation with the tree commission, whether it's between the planning board and the tree commission, or the tree commission and, I don't think the tree commission would ever want to deal with people who are presenting plans. So I request that pages 32 through 37 in the draft, you and I could discuss perhaps. I think that would be great. And I think that mention of the community forest management plan. I know we can't just mention it because it will not be long lasting, like the code will be. But something needs to be more clearly defined. And then in terms of the design guidelines, it's a similar thing about the tree commission being mentioned and it being vague. In terms of plant selection, the criteria in Appendix A, the recommended plant list, does not jive with the community forest management plan. So that lack of alignment of things that are recommended and also things that are not recommended from our community forest management plan, I think we need to work on that a little bit. And this is knowing that there were no members of the tree commission meeting at the event. So this is all new to them. And it's it's also in the context of looking at the code for the tree commission. So there's a couple of balls in the air here for me.
Yeah, that's fine. And I'm sure if you wrote this down on a sticky note, they have it. Like,
All I wrote was chapter 167 and community forest management plan, and I talked to, got her name, the person who was doing,
Lisa,
it wasn't Lisa.
Mackenzie?
Mackenzie.
Yeah, she'll, good. That's good.
So we
she's got
talked
it.
about it.
So we'll
and-
make sure that this comes up in our meeting. Yeah.
And the draft also says that it's bolded, that there needs to be further look at the tree stuff, so this would be a good time to do that. So everything cross-referencing to the greatest extent possible is clear. And I want to end on, it's a fantastic, complex, useful document. It's just, unless I said something, you wouldn't know what I was thinking, and we wouldn't have context for our conversation before Wednesday.
No, it's good. I'm very excited about the document. There are going to be tweaks needed for sure, and we'll tweak as much as we need to, but I think it's gonna be a real big improvement to how our development community, how our residential community, how our volunteer community on the planning board and the ZBA can use this document.
Yeah.
But it's super easy.
Yeah.
Much easier. So that's with zoning. You're gonna hear a lot about zoning all summer long. I'm not gonna let up the gas pedal because it is complex, and if we pull our head out of it and then come back in a month later, we're all gonna be like, what happened last season? I don't remember how that season ended. Yeah, and we're not gonna do that. That is not to rush it through the public, but it is to keep us focused on. So, The other thing, the only community garden is really getting well underway. DPW, Tyler specifically has done a great job working with Christine and Dennis in making improvements so the gardeners really can do what
Got
they,
our berry bushes.
yeah, yeah. It was a scramble there. Tyler and I both agreed, time to go, so,
It looks nice. They have a nice path going from the parking lot to the
Yeah.
gardens
yeah.
now that they put in.
We can do an intentional berry patch, that was not intentional.
No, it's not. It was just my snack as I went to the garden during berry season.
There were the kids would snack on it too. I did think about that, but I said, no, this is not intentional.
No, the rest of it was a mess. So the mess outweighed the good.
I went and visited. It looks fantastic. The cleanup behind the barn, amazing.
Right?
You know,
Right.
that was really out of
Yeah.
control.
That's
So-
intentional. So we want to keep it clean looking and we want to, I'd love to see that. The gardeners do what they do best, which is garden. And when everything's growing, it looks very lively and
Mhm.
very healthy. And I just want to support them to do that. So that's been done. Parks Commission is in the process of updating the parks plan, which is a 2018 plan. They just held their own internal little vision and mission statement session, which is great that they're undertaking that. They're gonna come to us when they're ready to present to us what they think those statements should be,
Mhm.
which will be guiding statements for the update of the parks. So I think signs are gonna come out. I know you're not in favor of the color of the signs, but it's time to put them up. So we all, well, you were not on the board, I don't think, in 23. Were you on the board in 23?
24.
Okay, so, we all otherwise agreed to the placement of these signs. Each park should have its own sign. And so the Parks Commission back then designed a format for that to be, so every park's
More uniform.
design will be the
Right.
same. And the intention is so that people who love our parks and use our parks actually can learn the name of the park. You don't have to guess. Like in my house, we call it the swings. Every park has its own little nickname. You know, where the fishies swim, that park, swings and slides are that. So, yeah, the kids will learn the name. Anyway, that's it for the Parks Commission. That's it for me.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Well-
Did these ESF ever send something?
No, I have not heard yet.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'll follow up on that too.
Well, I certainly was impressed with the presentation that and thank you very much to Jane and the committee for mucho hard work. I'm, as I said before, I'm impressed and I think there's a lot of good things. I looked at a lot of things I didn't know anything about. And I just thought it was great and I'm happy that the map showed up down here because every day when I come in, I look at another section. So I'm on the fourth section now, I think. Since I've
That's
been
good.
coming in.
That's the way to look at
Just-
the map. It's hard.
Going through it and so thank you to you and to the committee for doing a good job. I think that when we're going to know when it's what has been done is the right thing when people come in and have to use.
That's exactly
Okay, so like, as far as the judgment goes, I can judge it and say it looks good. One thing that I want to caution you about, even though I've been pushing you, push, let's get this thing in order. I don't want you to be so fast in your committee meeting, taking things into consideration. Make sure it's right when it goes down to Dog County Planning, because if there is a major change when it comes back to this board, I think Ted would probably be able to tell us if there's a major change,
Yeah, it's.
it has to go back.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
So, so that's.
Yeah.
So I was impressed. As I said, that's the third time, but. I've always had my doubts about planning. Because planning is best if you start with an open area.
Mhm.
And this goes here, this goes here, this goes, but like they can do in many municipalities. that spring up in California and
Florida, yeah.
different places.
Yep.
Okay, so.
Yep.
So it's very difficult to fit things. And that's what you actually had to do. You had to fit. The other thing, congratulations to Drew and Tyler Maine. They were selected to the All Central New York Boys Hockey Team, and I try to bring up local residents, their Fayetteville residents. And of course, their mother was very active, and her name is Stephanie Maine, in both the Fayetteville Recreation and the Sports Booster Club. And having been a coach for a long time, you know, people get selected here, selected there, but where it comes from is they should select the home, because that's where it comes from. The home instills in these athletes, musicians, all different kinds of things, academic. It all gets instilled in the home. So I would like to,
Boys' names?
pardon me,
What were the boys' names?
I'll give you a newspaper. It's Drew and Tyler Maine, Mayne. So that's my opinion, and was happy. Okay, that's it, I guess. Thank you.
Actually, I've got a number of things. Number one, I want to piggyback on the zoning committee. I happen to be working on the zoning committee, and I want to thank Jane and EDR. We're 18 months into a process. That's what we are. We hope to try to finish this in the next 6 months. We don't know if that's going to happen. That really depends on what happens with you people on the county planning, et cetera. When we first started this, it was really sort of one of those things where I had a headache every meeting. And I mean that sincerely. And as I went along, it became much better. And by the time we were presenting to the public, it was like, it made sense to me. My only conquest that I've been working on all the time is trying to make sure we don't have those unintended consequences that occur. And that, to me, is why I deserve those headaches.
Yeah, but you know, we've been told many times by the consultant, the lawyer, and working with consultant is exactly what Danny said. We can think through every scenario that we can think through, but we're not going to know where the oops is
Yeah.
until we apply it, and then we'll need to tweak it.
Yeah.
After that.
And I mean, we catch a lot, and I know that, but gosh, you always think to yourself, what have I missed? And that's the other part that goes along with it. And we're hoping the public tells us. That's really what it's about. Secondly, I want to talk about, and I'm sorry that Tyler left, because we've been talking about his brine bin, and that was part of our budget process where he has to do major repair to his brine bin in order for the brine making machine for this coming winter. And what I've done is I've actually talked to the Onondaga County Legislature staff, et cetera, and also legislators, and our local legislators helped me present a proposal to the county legislator in order to help with that along the way. Because right now, I've put together where we've got a proposal where Tyler provided us with the quotes for this were about 30 to 40,000, just like we were talking about in our budget meetings. And Tyler also provided the usage and the deliverables that we are taking care of with other municipalities from the brine making machine that we do in our village. And we're very unique in that regard when we come down to it. But one of the major things along with this is that we're all looking at the municipalities that we're working with. We're looking to reduce the amount of salt that we use on our roads in the wintertime. Because if we can reduce the amount of salt on our roads, it actually helps us environmentally so that we don't create problems in our streams, etc. So the salinity is a big problem. And if you take a look at salinity on roads, you'll see if you go to the Adirondacks, they've taken it to much higher levels where they don't even use brine. They are using sand because the lakes in the Finger Lakes are extremely susceptible to that kind of problem. Yes, Steve.
Sand that's what they used in Pompey. It ended up in Oneida Lake, and Oneida Lake's lost a lot of the depth.
Yeah. One of the things that's the siltation coming from the
So I went to
correct.
I went to a couple of the meetings, and that's what I learned.
Yeah, we also want to try to stay away from sand because if you talk to our DPW, we're always hoeing out our sewer system, catch basins every spring because if we're using sand, it just piles in there. So it becomes another problem for us also. So sand is the perfect solution and we're working with Brian, and because of the way we're working with Brian, and by the way, we're supplying the village of Manlius ourselves and Onondaga County DOT. And they use a substantial amount on the Eastern District here for Onondaga County DOT. The way we're approaching it in our village reduces it, and what it does, it actually helps produce safer streets in the winter because they're able to put it down before a snowstorm, which creates where it starts to melt when the snow comes, so you don't have frozen ice directly on your road initially when you have this. If you have continuation, you've got another problem. But what it does is allow them to manage their snow removal along the way as well, much better. So that's one of the things we have to say, and that's really sort of like. And one of the things that I see all the time is when I go to Albany, I'm talking about how the governor is pushing for us to reduce the amount of salts that we're putting on the roads, and it's the right thing to do for our environment as well. And the other last thing that I want to talk about is I've redone my own vegetable garden. So my office is officially opened. And what that means is all the people in the neighborhood who walk by always come and stop at my house when I'm working out my vegetable garden and say, Mark, I want to talk to you about such and such. It makes it easier for everybody. And that's one of the things that a lot of people look forward to, and I look forward to during the summer months as well, because it does put you out there in the community all the time for you're really accessible. So I don't have to necessarily go out and do it. But they know where I am. My wife asked me what took me the last hour in order to go pick that tomato, if you know what I mean. So that's the kind of stuff that happens. So from my point of view, this is like the beginning of the best part of the year where I actually get to talk to our neighbors and what the other people who live in the village from all over. That's what it's about. So thank you.
Thinking about tomorrow night here now.
No, yeah, I want to remind you folks, yes, we do have our climate meeting tomorrow night that you've all been invited to. And when I spoke about it our last meeting, and that's going to be at the Fairfield Free Library.
What,
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock?
I have too many, I have to.
I'm pretty sure it's 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
6 o'clock. And so, there's lots going on.
Yep.
And that's the way it should be.
Casey?
I had a full page written report and my computer died. I'll provide some so that's.
Give us some highlights from your memories.
Yes.
I love it.
Well, I have to brainstorm for a second.
Okay.
This is,
You want me to ask if anybody else said anything before you? Like Sarah or
oh, yeah.
Let's name it like, apple.
that's you,
Nice.
anything?
Yes.
Sarah, any updates from the town you want to tell us about? Well, Casey's.
Okay.
By the way, Betsy, you're welcome here all the time. You don't have to just wait to talk about your chickens.
Oh, I do listen in.
Great.
It's quite convenient.
Well, and you up to this latest round of committee, right? Good stuff with his own, so.
I do have one question. Have you decided where the meeting place is for you?
Oh, so the elected officials, we are going to line up on the shoulder of the road where they unload cars for Chrysler Place. So by the gazebo of the town center on that side of Burdick Street. And then when they're ready for us, they're gonna fill us in front of the Chrysler Place, but yes, so we're gonna send that out. Patty will be here tomorrow and we'll send it out, but just so you'll know, and you can tell anybody that you come across that's where we're gonna be for that.
I figured we were gonna talk about the parade. eventually.
I will, yeah, once
Yeah.
we get.
Okay,
Sure.
so I'm trying to picture my page, but it started with the town of Manlius Police. And I wanted to highlight that this coming Saturday, from 10 to 2 p.m. in the parking lot of the Village of Manlius Center. They'll be holding that event and it sounds great. And lots of things for family members of all ages. I am very excited to have my first shot at flying a drone. That's one of the things you can do.
Oh.
And another thing is, I would recommend people take a peek at the vehicles. Oh, they're very expensive, but they're like, they're little mini command centers. There's car safety seat checks, helmet checks, and That's all that is coming to mind at this point.
Free hot dogs,
Excuse me?
free hot dogs,
Danny wants lunch.
Buy you a hot dog.
free hot dogs.
Oh, yeah, I didn't.
They
it
were
wasn't
last
any-
year.
It wasn't anything I read. So I don't want to make a claim and then have somebody be very disappointed.
You asked the right person.
Syracuse Metropolitan Transportation Study Technical Report. I talked to Thomas Bardenett, our person, and it is done pretty much from what Jane and I had received before. They had it do some tweaking, but it has to go through a process there. And they will have their planning committee has a meeting in June, and then the policy committee has to approve it on June 25th. So we don't have another meeting after our June 22nd until July. So I was hoping that maybe we could talk about having Thomas come and he would do a presentation. And he will also have slides for us that we can also, in addition to putting the report on the website, there'll be a summary of those things. And Matilda is going to be reciting a speech down at the Onondaga County Courthouse. We haven't seen Matilda live in a very long time. That was Sally's persona.
Right.
And so at 3 p.m. on June 15th, they
Was
they'll
it
be
in their
accepting a
newsletter?
flag.
Cause I get their newsletter on the
Yeah,
email.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Okay,
they'll
so-
be accepting a battle flag from the Civil War that Matilda and other women in Fayetteville made. And it had not been in the hands of the county for a long time. It was August 1862, so it's kind of earlier days. So the county now has possession of the flag, and the county clerk, Emily Bersani, is having an event at 3 p.m. that day. I will send details. Karen, I'll give you the details in case my date was wrong. So
So. That's
Sounds like
okay.
you hit the highlights if they came to memory.
Well, I'll say something and that'll spark something.
okay,
I should have my newsletter article too tomorrow morning.
thank you, Mike Small.
Does that help you?
Yes, Jane Rice has her pieces in, and we have some in.
I wrote something, but I have to have Jennifer go through a little bit and I have to look at it one more time before I
You
send it.
get
to
credit,
you.
you have a draft.
So I have a draft.
Yeah,
But
that's
it's
great.
not to you yet, so.
We're really
I
hoping to
I
stick,
saw your email earlier.
we're really hoping to stick to the deadline so we can get it out to everybody on June 1st. So thank you for those who have submitted, and Patty has been working on our vet stuff, and Rec has handed in, and Gage has handed in, so we have,
So I
and
was,
Town of Manlius Police Committee has handed in.
speaking of the newsletter, I was gonna write something up for the Center for Active Adults, but I thought, they have their own website, they have their own schedule. So I don't know if the newsletter can just reference everyone to that, like, I don't know that we.
I don't have to reinvent the wheel if they're already promoting themselves in their own newsletter and that's online. That's online too, so if we give them the website, people could.
So I
go to that
Gage,
store.
the summer hours and request for volunteers. That's what's,
Okay, so
Three
I'll do a
sentences.
quick one sentence for you. Okay, I'll do that.
You got my hand.
Give more or you're good.
Getting-
Well, no, I mean, I'm not putting the pressure on you. I just don't
Got
wanna,
nervous and
I
then-
don't wanna cut you off. That's all.
He knew where to bring it up.
Yes, thank you, Mike.
Yeah, no, I know that,
Alright.
Um,
So we had a meeting. Oh, go ahead. Did you have one?
Tree Commission.
Okay.
So this is important, glad I remembered it. They, with the help of the Town of Manlius Tree Commission, we will be using a new request form that will make most, if not all, the problems we had in the last fall go away. And we adapted their form for us, and I have to talk with Karen, but we're hoping to get it on the website. And it go live by June 1st. The request form will be active from June 1st to July 15th. And after that point, we need to close it off, so we have enough time to plan which trees go with the sites that we can handle and order the trees by the beginning of August. So they're moving away around, they're moving well, and I think pruners have done 50 trees. So they have monthly sessions where they're going out. Last time they had 6 people. Oh, not this weekend, but the weekend before. Okay.
Great. So we did have a meeting, Patty, Karen, myself, Mark was there. Tyler was there regarding the parade and the logistics of the bridge being out down there. So any of the elected officials are gonna line up, as I just told Sarah, along Burdick Street on the gazebo side of Burdick Street there. And then any of the fire department veterans, they're gonna be in front of the Chrysler Place. At 8:30, they intend to close all those roads down. We're up here at 8 o'clock for the little ceremony at this park, and then we're down there. And everybody else is gonna pretty much, we determined that everybody should stay pretty much where they were, even if there's some logistical problems of dropping off the bands from the schools. But to tell them to be dropped off in a different location and lined up in a different location was gonna be a problem, so we tried to keep as much of it as it was, or where it was. I think we're the ones that are displaced probably the most, I guess, and the veterans. So 2 of us that should be able to communicate and know where we're going should be fine. And the rest will pretty much be where they are.
Biggest thing is that we just want everybody earlier.
Right, we do want to make sure everybody gets there as early as possible.
Sooner, we could get everybody.
What's earlier?
Well, I mean, we usually meet here at 8 o'clock and go down there, but it's not, and it's not like Sarah with the town. It's not like some of Manlius, but some of the other people that come that are dignitaries sometimes come flying in at the last moment or come
Yeah,
in
yeah,
and then they get out and they start talking, and then when it's time to move, then they want to decorate their cars instead of decorating their cars first. So we have to just be a little more on top of that stuff this year. We're most likely, most of us, I think, are over here at 8 o'clock and then we go down there anyways, so it's not like it's, it doesn't affect us so much, but
It helps the
because we're there.
officers, it helps if we can get the road closed and organized. We put the car wash on notice, they will be open, it's business as usual for them. We tried to explain that.
Well, I'm still gonna send them the map of what gets closed because
Yes,
they're not gonna have
they'll
access
be-
for an hour.
For people in the area, we'll be mindful of them and to be respectful on both ends. I don't think they recognize that the road will literally be closed off for 45 minutes. So it'll be quiet anyway, but we left it up to them. But it'll help the police if we can just get specific groups, like you said, the dignitaries, the VFW, hopefully, and the school buses in and out earlier. So most people try to show up 8:30. We're gonna impress on them that try 8:15, so then you are there by 8:30, because everything will shut down sooner if the police can help them. So that was the biggest thing, is having police involved and aware.
So then, to follow up on the parade marshal, John Goodfellow agreed to be the parade marshal, but only if he could be the last car in the parade, because he doesn't want to give up his. This is his 50th year of organizing the parade and directing people into where they belong in the parade. And he's not retiring, but he said that he would be parade
It'll
marshal.
be the finale.
So, but he wants to go, but he wants to go last. He doesn't want to go first.
Everybody and then get in the car.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. Yes, it is. And John's really happy with that.
Well, it's 50 years, so we, I mean, there's.
Great street now.
Right,
That's
so I
very
told him
cool.
that we were not allowing him to like be 50 years and out, but he was able to be honored at least for that purpose or whatever, so.
I'm grateful that he actually enjoys doing it.
Yeah, he's really happy about doing it and wants to continue doing it and has enjoyed it for the last several years, doesn't seem to get upset by things. He talked to the cops about having, or maybe he said he had them from his shop, like some 2-way radios to talk to people or communication with the cops and their radio systems and things. He talked to them. He was at the meeting too. So that all kind of pulled together and helped. It's probably the first time I recall having a meeting like that.
And something probably should have happened
From,
sooner.
so we may have another one another year or two from now. Maybe next year when the bridge is back open, we can discuss things. Maybe we'll see how things work this year. Maybe this will just be a better way to do it. We talked about the traffic flow because of the bridge being out. People, they used to have somebody that was or two people near that Brookley Drive, Abacoles area to like stop cars and things. Now they can use a barricade for one side and then just direct people down under the bridge and up past, that neighborhood to get out of town or away from the parade when it's shut down or whatever and stuff. They did talk about, in the past, once they had like the High Bridge to Burdick Street opened up with no parade people, that they would open up the bridge that's out and let people go west that way. But of course, this year they can't do that because of the way the bridge is out. But, so we had some discussions. Yeah, we had discussions about all that stuff. So, it should work out good. But it was a good meeting and it was helpful to like talk it through,
Coordinate.
which we really hadn't done. Everything just kind of worked, but it may work a
Got
little
no
better
use
this
it,
year
it
because
just
of it and
happens.
the changes that we have to do, so. Other than that, that's all I have. So, motion to adjourn unless anybody has anything.
So move.
Move, second.
I'll second.
Somebody wanna go home?